Midweek Madness is the show. We have a new guest with us, and Tehara is also here. As always, the Curve has given us this wonderful drink we have right in front of us, and Sunesh is going to taste it.
Oh, Sunesh, yes, you have to taste it.
I'm not a very good taste of things. It's good.
It's good.
Nice lime juice. Tastes like lime.
Tastes like lime. Wow. So I have a few questions for Sunesh.
Okay.
Sunesh, so like you achieved so much, like
Have I?
yeah, you have. Okay, so did you have a plan to achieve what you've achieved, and are you happy with how much you've achieved?
Well, yes. I've always been a very planned individual. Whether I'm going somewhere, whether I want to study, whether I wanted to work, I've always been very planned. Often the biggest complaint from my friends would be that I'm too planned and too organized.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm being accused of being a control freak. Can partly take the blame for that. I've always believed in having a plan, or else we'd just be running hither like headless chicken. I don't believe in that principle and concept. So, yes, to a large extent I've planned. There are things that have gone not according to plan, but largely, by and large, until now, it has been quite all right in terms of planning.
Are you happy with how much you've come?
Yeah, very, very happy. But there are things I would like to fix, but obviously you can't go back in time. So I wouldn't trade to be in a different situation.
Okay.
I'm definitely content. Content, I think, would be the word.
Right word.
Alright. So Sunesh, out of the many things that you are also a journalist. What made you want to become one?
At 13, I met Dad's best friend at that time, Rodrigo. I still think he's the greatest journalist the country has ever produced. So I'm an old Ben. Uncle Asant is also an old Ben. Met him randomly during a walk, and I had a 5-minute chat with him. He really inspired me, really did inspire me. So since 13, if anyone would ask me what do you want to become, my answer was I wanted to be a journalist. I had no clue how it was going to be. But I was always a very outspoken individual back in college and so on and so forth. So I took part in debating. And then as soon as I was leaving college, there was this advertisement on the papers. I hadn't even left college by that time. So I was sitting for my A-levels, and then I just sent in an application to MTV. Had to go through like 8 interviews, but finally managed to get in as a sports journalist, trainee sports journalist. But it was a big deal to walk into a newsroom with people in the caliber of Shivan Daniels and Manilka Phillips and Sulakshmi Pereira, Ashan Dias. It was an overwhelming feeling because they were household names and they were big people, still are. And to walk into the newsroom was an amazing feeling. So that's how my career in journalism started.
Wow. Okay.
That's huge.
Might inspire me also. So there was one question I really wanted to ask you. You're involved in so many things that takes most of your time. Okay, so how do you balance everything, like your family, your work, and like free time?
I am a strong believer that you have one life and you need to be able to do as much as you can, and especially during the age of about 18 to 40. Which I think is the prime, where you're able to, you have the energy to do things. So I've always wanted to be occupied, and I don't believe in free time per se. Even free time, I like to allocate my free time for something progressive, like what I've taken up recently. Since of late, I do training and lecturing, and then since of late I've started to get involved in agriculture. I like
That's new. That's new.
So I've just started to grow pineapples, pepper, and paddy. I don't know why 3 P's, but yeah, it's not that I'm getting into it in large scale, but I just like to occupy myself. My parents have a small plot of land, so I thought I'll start with that. Started with pineapple, then a bit of pepper, and then I want to learn how paddy works. So I think the strategy that one needs to adopt is to balance things out and prioritize what you need to achieve on a particular day, and then achieve it and then move on. I also believe in allocating your brain and time to the task that you're at, than worry about A, B, C while you're attending to D. If you're attending to D, attend to D and get it done with, and then move on to maybe C or B or A. So I think that is what has worked. If it has worked, I'm not the best judge. of whether it has worked for me or not. But if it has worked, then I think, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So where do you see yourself in like 10 years or so?
I already like to think I'm retired because I'm no longer in the corporate world. I'm doing my corporate training and I'm a lecturer. That takes most of my time. Since I'm my own boss, kind of, I think I'm retired. I'd like to think that. But I definitely want to see myself as someone who's involved in a lot of agricultural work. I've suddenly taken a huge passion towards this field of agriculture. I like growing. But the irony of it is that I don't eat vegetables at all. Not a single vegetable, but I've started to grow vegetables. It's very ironic. My parents find it extremely hideous. But that's how it has worked. So in 10 years, I definitely want to be able to continue my lecturing, for sure. I really like that. But I want to take agriculture to a new level because I believe today our generation is looking down upon this notion of agriculture. Why do I need to start cultivating? But we all forget that we all need to eat. So if we are all going to run away from it, then who's going to be there to cultivate? And the best part of the joke is Sri Lanka is sending out youth to countries like South Korea. What are they going for? They're going to engage in paddy and then fishing.
But here
exactly, and nobody. If you look at agriculture today, the biggest problem that any entrepreneur is facing is the lack of labor. So there are people who want to go abroad and engage in agricultural work, but not in Sri Lanka. So one of the things that I don't know how successful I'm going to be in able to change. I'd like to change a bit of perception towards agriculture.
See, in 10 years time.
Okay, so Sunesh, tell us what keeps you motivated to do all of these things?
I am a believer that you are your best competitor and critique. I like to look at people who have achieved great things. There are lots of mentors in my life, but I believe in myself being my own critic, and you want to better yourself. Because what often happens is when we look at someone and make them your idol, you want to only become like that particular individual, and then you are narrowing your scope. So I'm one of my favorite individuals in the entire world is this lady called Yelena Isinbayeva, a Russian pole vaulter, who's bettered her own record 28 times. She made competition obsolete, but yet she was striving to better her own self. That's what I'd like to do. I don't know how successful I am or how much I'll fail, but I want to constantly better myself, whether it is lecturing, whether it is corporate training, whether I'm doing a consultation job for a company, or whether I'm just plowing the field. I'd always want to better myself in whatever I do. So I think that drives me to become, if I am a better individual, to become a better individual.
So taking things back from a serious tone to a very chilled out tone now.
So why did you have to drop your voice?
No, sore throat today? Yeah. So what would you consider is your most embarrassing moment that you have ever had?
Oh yeah, I can name it without a problem.
Plenty.
No, I have one that stands out like a sore thumb. So I was 3 years into my job at MTV, and then I was reading the afternoon primetime news. I was quite experienced, 3 years in broadcast media, and I've been reading for 3 years. So I can't blame it and say I didn't know how it worked. So in news, there are 3-4 different types of news stories. There's something called a package story. That is, the anchor reads out the intro, and then there is pre-edited audio video that will be aired. And then there's graphics. While you're reading, then the graphic will come in. So I was the producer also for that particular bulletin, and then I did the package, which was the pre-edited version. So I knew it was just going to be 2 lines of an intro. So I was looking into the camera and I said, I can't remember what the line was. Let's assume the government has decided to allocate subsidies for farmers, and a function in this regard was held in Polonnaruwa last evening. So as all news anchors do, I looked into the camera and I smiled. And then, so automatically I'm assuming, okay, the package is going to be rolled now. So I waited for 2 seconds, and then I didn't bother looking at the TV down, whether it was on me or whether the package was rolling. I heard a voice take over, so I went into my relaxed mode, and the relaxed mode was an extremely relaxed mode. So I leaned back, did this, and then I was mispronouncing words. So I was doing on camera and
Live television.
yes, live television. I was pulling my lips, making my jaw, and suddenly the producer is screaming into my ear, "On there, oi, on there." So I suddenly looked in the camera. I was too embarrassed to look at the camera. I kept looking down on the sheet of paper, and I think not more than, maybe about 2 million people would have seen it. So,
Just 2 million.
Just 2 million.
Just 2 million. I think.
So I don't think you can top that.
So now we're going to move on to our second segment, which is the rapid fire.
So do you consider yourself as a role model?
Absolutely no.
No?
No.
No.
I don't think someone should make me a role model. No.
Are there any social norms or laws that baffle you?
Yeah, plenty.
Is there
Plenty.
one?
I'll name one. I don't understand why it is okay for men to piss in public, for youngsters not to kiss in public in Sri Lanka.
Actually.
Seriously, I've never gotten around it. Why? People would look aside if a man is peeing on the road.
Yeah.
But if a couple is maybe holding hands or giving a kiss on the cheek or patting the girl's head, everyone frowns upon it. I've never come to understand that.
Third question. What would you consider as your most guiltiest pleasure?
Eating lots of Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. Kit Kat.
I love Kit Kat. Sorry.
It's okay.
Like,
true.
define lots.
Actually, that's a good
Quite a lot. So anyone who goes abroad,
Okay.
who's a friend of mine, would always bring me Kit Kat. I'm known across boards to be that one person who loves all types of Kit Kat. And I eat a lot of Kit Kat.
Say we had a box of
It wouldn't last a day. I eat a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a hell of a lot of Kit Kat. Yeah, and I'm generally friends, family who go abroad, they come down and they say, share it with the family. I swear I never share
Share it with the family?
No,
Yeah.
Kit Kat, no I don't.
Share it with yourself, Sunesh.
Yeah.
You yourself and I.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're free?
No, I can't.
What did you do in your free time?
I'm not a leisure reader. I fall asleep if I read novels. I'm an information reader. I like to learn about new things.
More things,
Yeah, so my newest passion is to understand what the world would be in 20 years. So I'm very guilty of being an addict of the technology and the features page of BBC,
Okay.
which talks a lot about what the world is going to be in 15, 20 years. It helps with my lecturing as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I do. I am a huge fan of biking, not like cycling, but biking. I love bikes, I really do.
The adrenaline.
Yes,
Adrenaline
yes,
rush?
I'm a huge fan of
Do you
biking.
own a bike? Okay. 5 restaurants you love to go to.
I can't name 5, but Lagoon is my favorite restaurant. I love to go there. There's a reason also. I don't know if it is just for regular people, but if you order food at Lagoon, and generally their portions are big, so you feel fully stuffed, right? And then what happens is, so you say no, thank you, I don't want to have dessert. They nicely come and give you 4 pieces of chocolate. You're like, oh. I mean, we like things given for free, right?
Customer service, that is what
Ah,
you
really?
call
Oh,
superior
I
customer
wouldn't do that.
service, you know.
I wouldn't.
See, she's done her
That's an
homework.
interfunctional organizational culture
Right.
right there.
Never mind. So yeah, Lagoon is my favorite.
Talking about restaurants and cafes and all that. Now the Curve here, this is our location sponsor. So what do you think about the Curve?
I've been here a few nights. I think it's a very nice place to relax and unwind. Not a very hustling, bustling place. If you definitely want to catch up with a few friends, maybe over a drink, maybe over a coffee, maybe over something to eat, I'd recommend it. Purely because majority of the clubs or pubs in Colombo is very noisy. You can't have a conversation. Well, you could have a conversation and not have your voice the next day.
True.
That's an odd option. But this place, I think it's nice. It's frequented by people who are nice as well. Not a lot of loud and want to be out there kind of people. Which, so if that is your cup of tea, I think this place works.
Alright.
He did well, didn't he?
He did
Really?
well. Yeah, so the next segment's called First Thing. We'll tell you something and you need to tell us the first thing that comes into your mind.
Into my mind.
When we say it.
Yeah, you have no time to
No
think.
time.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start. Gym or jog?
Definitely jog.
Scarlett Johansson or Jennifer Lawrence?
None.
Babies.
Oh, this scared me. Oh, I am mortally afraid of babies. They are afraid of me. I'm afraid
The
of
fact that
them.
you dropped it or the fact
No,
that-
there's only one child who's ever smiled with me and been all right.
That's
one
scary
of,
to
one of
know
my
that.
friends, Natali, second daughter, Ariel. Besides her, children frown, they scream when they see me, and I am also very afraid of them, to be honest.
So maybe they
So like if there's a
empathize your
baby, a
feelings.
child, a toddler on this side, I'd walk on the other side of the road. Yeah.
So that's why you teach big kids like
Yes. I would love to teach tertiary. I can't teach secondary and primary.
Would you want to consider it as a challenge? Like to
It's a huge challenge. I'm okay. I'm bad with kids.
kids, okay.
I agree. I know this, and I'm horrible at it. And I will try to better myself in future, but I am.
For right
horrible.
now, you just settle to us.
Yeah, admitting the fact that I'm bad with children. Yeah.
Pastor?
Okay. Next word or words. Your dad.
My role model, my mentor, best friend. He's behind everything I am today. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have achieved nothing. He's the person to date I would call first if I have a tire puncture in a car. I call him everything other than Ado or Matan, I think. We're really close, really close. And if I'm buying a t-shirt, I'd buy medium, I'd get him large. So we're that close. And if I am having a mushy, like shrubbery beard, he'd have the same. If I do a French cut, he does the same.
Best
And-
friends.
Yeah,
That's
that
really cool.
really annoys my mom. But Dad and I are
Like
like,
having two of you all there, she must be just like, oh god.
yeah, but he's far more
Can't explain in words.
very
even.
very matured the way he looks at things. I would love to be. Honestly, I'd love to be like him when I'm a father. I would love to. I very rarely would I say I want to be exactly like that. But if I could be exactly like that, I think.
So yeah, Dad's very proud of you too. So yeah. So many blushes right now.
My
So-
mom would have something to say about this, but yeah.
So Friday night with the boys or dinner with your family?
Dinner with the family and Friday night with the boys.
My god, this boy, I tell you.
He wants the cake and wants to eat it
It
all.
also.
So why not?
I
Why
was,
not? See, my family wouldn't dine till very late. The boys wouldn't start very early either. So
So,
when you have both options,
why not, right?
take both options, right? So
You get to do both.
I
Multitasking.
score
Yeah.
points, take my parents out, have them have good food, then drop them home. Might have to go. This is
So it's a small thing.
I'll be back soon.
Yeah.
And they leave the key outside. So it works. But
Yeah.
So our next one. I don't know if I should ask this again.
No, you shouldn't. No, no.
Should-
Yeah.
Okay, let's just.
That's good. He answered it earlier.
He did.
what?
Yeah.
was it?
Meal. Pasta.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
So the next one is sort of like we need your opinion on this. The floating market. What have you got to say?
Inappropriate, wrong place in my
Okay.
opinion.
The fact that it's placed in PETA.
Yeah, and also actually what I would like to say is opportunity cost.
Alright. Yeah. And the next one is what do you think of the current petrol price reduction?
Election gimmick. I want there to be elections every day.
So we'll add just one more thing.
Okay.
Now the current trend about the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
What have you got to say?
Actually, yeah.
Um, Right. I am a huge campaigner for public conversation over public announcements. I am against the notion of vanity taking over majority of the things that we do. Hence I don't criticize, but I wouldn't like selfies for an example. We are in an era when people want to go out on social media and announce, albeit after pouring water on the head when they're making a donation. I am old school to think if you want to do something, as the Bible says, if you're doing something if you're giving from the right hand, don't let the left hand know, or vice versa. If you're making a donation, I don't see a reason why you need to make a big hullabaloo about things. Give it and believe in it. If you want to educate others, there are other means. But I also understand in an era when everyone's busy with a lot of things, to get their attention on things, sometimes you need to do drastic things. If you have comprehended the reason behind that drastic measure, then it's a different story. But if you're just doing it because everyone else is doing it, I think it defies the whole purpose. I believe that is what happened here. Ask the average Joe on the street to explain what ALS stands for.
Actually, no one does. Most people don't.
Have really a clue. So just like that, if you're wearing a nice outfit, I don't know if you yourself should take a selfie and put a caption on the top and say blah blah blah, and then expect the rest of the world to appreciate you. Call me old school, but this is how I think. So I like to think we've forgotten to hug friends, instead we tag friends. We've gotten into that kind of an era. I'm very honest about this. I lecture digital marketing as well, but I think digital marketing shouldn't take over human relationships, which is what has happened in my very humble opinion. There will be millions who's out there who will criticize this opinion of mine, but it's a personal opinion that I hold. That the human touch is more important than the Facebook like or the share.
On that note, we've come to the end of the show.
Thank you, Sunesh, for coming on the show tonight.
Today.
Sorry. Thank you for coming today. It was actually nice to hear your opinion on your stuff.
Thank you very much for inviting. However, I must admit that I don't think I deserve to be here. I don't know why, but thank you. It was very nice of you. No, it was very nice of the two of you. I'd like to think maybe because of your lecture.
Okay, so guys, we gotta go. See you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye.